Hi everyone, I'm John. This is Just A GearHead, and today we're going to continue to work on the 77 Century. Stay tuned. Alright, so like I said, we're going to continue to work on the 77 Century today. We're going to start more of the reassembly. Hopefully we can get like the radiator and stuff back in it. I'm hoping that we can get started in this video, but we'll see. Alright, so like I said, we're going to start putting stuff back together, or continue putting stuff back together, I guess. I have a new rad and whatnot, so we're going to try to get all of that in today. But first, I got a bunch of little brass fittings and stuff for on the intake here. Some of the old fittings don't match up with this new intake, and there's a couple I was going to get off the old intake, so I might have to fiddle around. So I went and bought some random brass fittings and stuff from the hardware store. We're going to see how many of these connections I can make using them. I got some new rubber grommets for like the PCV valve and whatnot. But yeah, we'll start trying to put some of this together. Oh, and I got myself a new connector for the line for the oil pressure gauge, so I can hopefully put that back together too. So the hopper line pulled out of the brass fitting. It has this little crush ring, looks like this, in there. And that is supposed to squish onto the hopper line. Now, the one that was in there was a little deformed. I don't think it sat properly or crushed on properly, so I'm going to take that one out and we'll put the new one on. Yeah, I'm not sure why this one didn't really work out. It looks okay, but didn't like it. So put the new one in, and hopefully this one will do the trick. Make sure you put the nut on and then the washer, or the crush washer thing, because if you don't, it won't work. Now you don't want to tighten this down too much, just until it's snug. I have actually split the brass nut in half if I tighten it down too far. So you just want to tighten it down so it's snug. Yeah, about like that probably. So I have the old PVC valve, but it's old and the grommet just crumbled when I took it out of the old intake. So I got myself a new grommet, a new valve, so we'll put those in. The grommet just swishes into the opening in the back of the intake here, and the PVC valve just pushes in. A tight fit. Yeah. So there it is at the back of the intake there. We got connections here. This one's supposed to be for the brake booster. This is supposed to be for the transmission, for the vacuum modulator. And up here we have, this is the temperature sender. There's another spot here for, I'm not sure what it's for, but on my old intake it was just blocked off. One of these is for the heater hose for the heat inside the car. And I'm thinking the other one was blocked off on mine, so I'll double check these. But yeah. And then we have other mounting places for the throttle and whatnot. But we'll start putting some of these in place. Now I got some of these just block off ones because there's two in the back here and at least one up here at the front, maybe two of these that I don't need. And they go into the water jackets. So I'm basically going to thread these in with a little bit of RVT on them. Just to seal them up. And make sure these are fit. Yeah, fit there. Yep. No, I don't need this one. Yeah. Alright. So we'll throw these ones in real quick. This is for the heater hose, which should be this one here. Okay. Well, it's not fitting that one. That one's different. What the heck thread is that one? I heard in the radiator. It's not going to be better there. I don't know what thread that is. Alright, well, we might not be putting that one in. I can put it there and have this with that, but that's really annoying. I'd have to maybe do that, but having it there would be better. But I might have to figure out what thread this is and throw that one for there. Alright, well that puts a damper in that. But alright, this one should be for the transmission line. Alright, so I got the two block offs in back there. I guess I could put the temperature sensor back there if I wanted to. Maybe? I don't know. But those two are blocked off. I got the PCV valve in place. I think that's what you call it. Transmissions hooked up. Brake boosters hooked up. This little port here is blocked off because I don't think I need it for the edit block. This one's blocked off. Now, I don't know if I was showing it on the video earlier, but this will thread in here for, and it would be for the heater hose for the inside of the car. But I'd rather have it here, but this is a different thread for some reason, and I don't have a block off for that either. I can block off this one, it's the same as this. And that position would be better for the heater hose to be away from the carburetor and whatnot. So I'm going to have to figure out what thread that is and see if I can go find a fitting for it. I think the instructions, the little piece of paper that came with it might have that listed as what thread. But the problem is it doesn't actually have the same hose. This actual intake isn't on the piece of paper. They have a similar one. So they have a dual plane and a single plane. And this one's similar, but it doesn't have the same openings as this one does. So I don't know. So I'll have to figure out what thread this is, and which one it's supposed to be on here or whatever, see if I can figure it out, and go from there. I'll have to go back to the store and probably find something for that. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to hit the carburetor, set it on here, maybe even bolt it down. So I think I'm done with everything back there, the PVC valve. Anyways, so yeah, I'll grab the carburetor, toss it on, and make sure it fits, and then see if the linkage will hook up to it, because this doesn't want to mount there anyways, and the barely reaches there, so I might have to fiddle with that too. Problems you run into when you change intakes. Anyways, we're at the carburetor. Alright, so that's the carburetor on. I did not need the spacer for, well, obvious reasons. I hooked up the PVC to this. PCV, yeah. I keep getting that messed around. PVC, PCV. Anyways, so that's hooked up there. Pretty sure I only need this port after. Where's that one? I only need one of these for the distributor. So the one of these I'll probably be blocking off. I did figure out that this fits into that hole. So I have to go find at the hardware store something that goes from this to something like this. So I can hook up the heater hose here. Because that, even if I cut it short, is kind of not great. Unless I can find a 90, that wouldn't be too bad. It would be better if I could just hook it there. So I have to go find from this to something like this. And I can't remember what this thread is. I think it's 3/8 NPT. So that's 1/2 inch NPT, I think. Anyways, I'll take this to the hardware store and find one like this instead of this one. And then I can put another block off here, because I don't need that. I only need one of these. But yeah, the other thing I was looking at is the air intake hold down. It's a little tall. Now I do know it's stuck up quite a bit out of the old air intake. So I don't think I need it that tall, but I'm going to have to check and see if the hood will close with it that tall, if I'm going to have to hide it. Maybe we'll do that next. I managed to get the hood closed, but you can see right there, it's smacking into the base. If it was over it, then it'd be fine. It's just hitting right there. Just a little. So I'll have to take half inch off the top of that, which should be fine. Like I said, I know it's stuck up at least an inch out of the old air cleaner. So we'll snip that down real quick, and then it should be fitting fine. As clear as the throttle linkage, it'll reach there, but this, don't mind the neighbor's dog, this doesn't line up there right. Doesn't want to line up properly. Might be able to make it if I drill a new hole or slot this hole over it. Make that fit there, and that might work okay. Doesn't fit down there because it's recessed in here. Won't go in there. So I have to fiddle with this a bit. Let's see if I can make something work. That's not bad. I'm gonna do that. Either way, I have to take this off and play with it. So we'll do that for a bit. I cut down the old throttle bracket, or throttle cable bracket, I guess. So it would bolt here. I had to use a brass spacer I had to lift it up a little bit. Otherwise, this would bind a little bit at the downward angle. I cut down the old spring to fit in here, so now it works nicely. Everything works well. So now I'm going to unbolt it, give it a quick coat of black paint, and then we can throw it back on. Alright, I think next what we'll do is throw some of the front dress on, and maybe the distributor. Yeah, I think I'll start doing that. alternator on, hose for the heater, for the one of them. Power steering pump is on, and I just threw that pulley on just to make sure everything looked like it was kind of lining up. Seems fine. I keep misplacing things and dropping things, so still going. And for some reason, putting stuff back together for me takes like 4 times as long as it took me to take it apart. It's really weird. I don't know if everyone's like that, but for me it takes me forever to put stuff back together, even just simple things. But anyways, next I think I will throw the radiator back in because I need to do that before I put the fan shroud on, to put the fan on, to finish figuring out some of this stuff with the hoses, and then I can figure out where I want the fuel line run. Alright, I'll put the distributor back in too. The engine should be at top dead center, so I have to figure out the timing order and stuff for it. But yeah, we'll put the rod in. Yeah, we'll start working on that stuff. I'm not sure which part I'll do first. Yeah. That's the cheapest aluminum radiator I could find on Amazon that claims to fit this car. It looks pretty much like this one. Just came out of it. Everything seems to be in the same places, about the same size. When you look at it this way, that one is almost twice as thick as this one. Because look how thin that is. It's like just a little bit thicker than my thumb. And yeah, this one's like, you know, almost twice as thick. So yeah. Well, looks like it's twice as thick as that one. I have not sure who makes it. I found randomly. I think the box says a Lux Rad or something on it. But yeah. So we'll throw that in and hopefully it fits. Yep, that seems to fit just fine. Right. Well, it fits. I'm not sure if the old one had that lean to it, but this one leans forward a little bit at the top. And to make it fit, there's a rubber isolator down there. I had to move it towards me, towards the passenger side a little bit. The driver's side one was okay, but yeah, this one had to come this way, so that the rad would come this way a tiny bit. Still a little snug right here. I might take this back off and take a little bit of metal out of there just because I don't like, it looks like it might rub. Yeah, I think I'll do that. This has to come back off so I can notch that a little bit. That's better. You can see there's now a gap in there. I'll just hit it with the grinder a little bit and put a quick coat of paint on it. It's still wet. But yeah, now we have a space between the neck and this retaining plate. The other thing I noticed is it has these 2 inlets, outlets. I'm not sure what they're for. Because these ones are for the transmission cooler. These go into that cavity there. So I don't know. Not sure what those are for. But we'll just leave the plugs in them for now, and if I figure it out, maybe I'll use them. We'll see. But yeah, next, I don't know. I set up the radiator. Let's throw in those transmission lines and do that real quick. Alright, so I got the transmission lines hooked up, the lower rad hose, and I had to reuse the old upper rad hose because the one I got from the supplier sort of fit, but as you can see the curves are very different, and it didn't really matter which way I put it. It would fit on, but this corner here would get kinked. There was too much pressure on it, so I guess I could have cut it down and used it, but this one is good. It's just, you know, a little old. And I figured while I was at it, I'll replace them. But I'll keep this one probably in the trunk of the car, just in case one of these other ones decides to call it quits. So it's been about a week since that last clip that I saw. I've been out here and there, poking at it a little bit, just putting a few things back together. I think I got it almost all back together. So I'll show you real quick what I've been up to. Alright, so I got the rest of the front accessories on. I don't remember exactly where I left off with the last video. But the fan belts, alternator, that's all hooked up. The distributor's on, new spark plug wires, new spark plugs. Most of the hoses and everything are hooked up. Well, everything's hooked up now. I put this shroud back in. I really wish they made a black one of these, or a reproduction of some sort, because these white, well, not really white anymore, plastic ones, look pretty terrible after a few years, so, well, several years. But yeah, so it would have been nice to find a new one of those, but they don't make them, so just put the old one back in. What else did I do? Oh, I got a new dipstick for the transmission, and installed that. And yeah, I think that's mostly up here. And I also did throw the drive shaft in as well. So I need to do exhaust, and I still have to go buy oil and transmission fluid before I can do a startup on it. Oh, and I added some coolant, because I am very forgetful, so I still have to go do all that stuff. I do have a air filter. I don't know if I showed you that in the last part of the video, so I'll grab that, throw it on, show you guys that. Yeah, so there it is with the new air filter on. I think it looks pretty sharp with the black air filter and the black valve covers. Oh, I did get a block off for that, that little inlet there. This one, right there, since I'm not using it. Oh, one other thing I did do is I installed a little mini tack. This gauge back here, the only thing I really need is the fuel gauge. Most of the little dummy lights have been replaced by my gauges over here. So I figured that'd be a good place to put it. I could mount it to the steering column. It's just a little one. I got like Princess Auto. So it's probably not great, but it'll at least give me an idea of what RPM I'm at. I drilled a new hole in the bracket that came with it, and then drilled a hole in the top of the steering column, put a really small screw in there, so it's nice and sturdy. And yeah, and that way I didn't have to use like the hose clamp idea that a lot of people use. This is just a little cleaner. Scratched it a little bit, so I'll have to touch it up with a Sharpie or something. But I think it looks pretty good. It doesn't look too obtrusive. But yeah, still have to put in a radio of some sort and clean up in here. And I got some new seat belts over there. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. So I didn't really want to film doing all those little things because they're just piddly little easy things. Things you've probably seen 100 times other people do. So yeah, It's pretty much ready to go, I think. So next video, I think it definitely will be a startup video, because I just have to put oil, transmission fluid, coolant, and gasoline in it. And maybe next episode I'll do the exhaust as well. We'll see. So right now, if I start it up, it'd probably be pretty loud, and I don't want to run it too much until I get the exhaust on it, because I still have to do the braking on the cam, and I'd rather have some sort of exhaust on it when I go to do that. And that's the other reason I installed the tach, is so I could at least have an idea of the RPMs when I do the braking on the cam. But yeah, so that'll probably be it for this episode of Just A GearHead. If you guys want merchandise, please check out the link to my Redbubble account in the description. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. And thank you again. We'll see you next time. Well, I'm not sure where I'm going to put this, or what video this is going in, but I was filling it up with oil and transmission fluid, and put coolant in it. As I'm putting coolant in it, I'm hearing coolant running out somewhere. And so I thought maybe I left the petcock open on the new radiator, or one of the hoses weren't connected right. Turns out it was leaking from back in here. It's right where the head meets the block. So obviously I screwed up something. Didn't put enough thread seal on one of the threads, or didn't tighten something correctly. But that means top of this all has to come apart again. So I'm tired. It's already late. So I don't know. I probably won't play with it today. I'll try to get to it maybe during the week, but next weekend we're going on a little trip, so I won't be able to work on it next weekend. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm tired.